Welcome everyone to the May 2nd, 2023 Fine Arts Missouri Educators Professional Learning Network. We're joined today by Catie Dwinal from QuaverEd with a background in music education, and today's session was hosted by Andrea Brandstetter.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to share my screen and we'll jump right into the session. And so basically what we're going to be here talking today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the different connections in the music room, how you can make connection, how you define connection, and using Quaver as an example and showing off some of the resources to give some ideas and get some brains kind of rolling for maybe some activities you can do towards the end of the year. And I'll leave time for questions at the end. I think I have about 40 minutes or so to kind of go through everything. So we'll get rolling right now. So I did want to introduce myself. I am an author, I'm a blogger, I'm a clinician, I'm a technology specialist. I actually did teach with Quaver in the classroom for several years. I was a pre-K through fifth grade music teacher way up north in New Hampshire, where there's still lots of snow and it's cold and rainy. And I'm glad I'm in Nashville right now, where Nick and I are, where HQ is. So today, the goals and the objectives are we are going to go through a bunch of new Quaver things, kind of showing off how some of those resources can be implemented in the classroom in the music classroom to make it kind of even more special, to engage students even more, to kind of get down into some deep personal connections using music. So to start off, I want you to think about what connection means in that music room. Okay, how do you build connection? How do you build connection with students? How do you build connection, from classmate to classmate, from teacher to student, from student to different material? Music is something that connects to so much. And there are all kinds of different ways that you can use it to be able to engage students and to get them really interested in what you're doing, and to be able to take those different connections and bring them outside of the music classroom into their daily lives. And of course, we create connection for different reasons. We create connection to engage students. That's one thing. A student hears their name, a student hears something that they're interested in, they tend to kind of perk up a little bit more, to listen a little deeper. It allows them to feel closer to that material. It allows them to be excited to explore more and kind of veer off into different directions. And it activates a lot of different deeper critical thinking skills and using real world problems. So one specific thing that I wanted to show, this is fairly new. This is an example in Quaver. And the cool part about this is something that you start off with Quaver and then you can go even deeper with something like this. This is called Zara's Saturday Playlist. And the whole premise of Zara's Saturday Playlist is to hear of what Zara does during her day, and then to choose music to go along with each part of her day. So this is building on a few separate things. This builds on personal connection with the students. So you're learning about what's Zara interested in, what does she do for hobbies, outside of that classroom. You're learning about the different styles of music that Zara likes. And then students are also starting to create that connection of there are specific types of music that are appropriate for specific types of events. You probably wouldn't play like circus music at a funeral or sad music at a birthday party. So they're starting to make those connections that there's different types of music appropriate for different parts of their day. So what we have here, we have Zara, who can give directions. You as the teacher can give directions, or Zara can give directions. So I'll play that.
Today's a busy Saturday for me, filled with activities. First up, I'm playing a gig with my band. Then I have ballet class. After that, I'm walking to my mom's house, where I'll finish the evening by getting ice cream with her, my stepdad, and my stepbrothers. But first, I'll need some good music to listen to get me through my busy day. Will you help me make a playlist? Select the next arrow and we can get started.
So the great part about having Zara give the directions is this is also something that you as the teacher can actually just assign to a student as well. We have the ability to assign different screens or to hit menu, link, and a QR code pops right up as well. So students can go and scan that QR code with computer ordered device to get this activity directly in front of them to be able to do independently or in small groups. So to go through with the activity, you hit the arrow down here and it takes you to the first part of her day. She's at a gig with her band. So she can give a little bit more direction. And then you have some choices. So students can listen to each choice and then make a decision on what piece of music would go best with this part of her day. So we can click on each one.
Does anybody want this heart of mine? Does anybody want a love so fine? Well, it's right here for the taking.
Some of these are like Quaver classics. They've been around for a while. This one's my favorite. This one's fairly new. So you can go through as a class, small groups, individually, choose each one to listen to, and then make the appropriate choice. And there's really no right or wrong answers with these. It's really kind of a discussion-based sort of thing. Why would you choose this? What parts of the song make it appropriate for something to listen to while she's gigging with her band? We have question applications here too. So if I were to hit the question, we go a little bit deeper into that connection. Have they ever seen somebody perform live? What was it like? Have they gone to their first concert yet? What did they do? What kind of music did they listen to? What kind of music have they performed before on stage? What kind of music did they listen to get ready for that? So we ask questions along the way to make those connections and make those like background and cultural connections with our students. We continue on. We have a bunch of questions, and just for the sake of time, I'm just gonna paginate through. We go through, we make our choices all the way down towards the end, and then we have some questions to have that discussion with students about why they made their choices and why they thought the songs were a good song to have on that playlist during her time of day. In addition to this activity, so this could be an activity that you could do with students to just kind of get the ball rolling. It might be a great beginning or end of the year activity just to make those deeper connections with students. Because after you do an activity like this is something where you can say, all right, now I want you to make a list of what you do during the day. Do you go to soccer practice? Do you go to ballet? Do you take instrument lessons? Do you go swimming? Do you go play in the park? Have them list out what they do. And then say, what kind of music do you listen to? Have them list out a few choices, or you as the teacher can list out a few choices and have them make their own playlist. And then maybe have a discussion about that, or have them share out their playlists and why they chose those songs and what they do during the day. It's great to get kind of more connected to those students, to learn about their interests and learn about the types of music they like to listen to. And they're starting to make those connections of what kind of music is appropriate for what events in their life. So that's a great activity. Zara's Saturday playlist you can still find in the new content button on our dashboard, or you can search in our resource manager. So when you're creating connection, there's some other things that you can kind of consider. And the big thing is creating community. We're creating that kind of musical community where students are able to explore their interests. I had several different kinds of clubs when I was teaching. Some of my favorites, I didn't even know were clubs that were formed. They just kind of formed on their own, and I just magically became the advisor. I had plenty of students who would come in, and I had a DJ club. I had an iPad band club. I had a skateboarding club because I also taught students how to do video editing. So they'd come in and we'd learn how to video edit and then create music to go along with their skateboarding videos. I had lots of different clubs that students loved to just come in. It was 15, 20 minutes out of the day, maybe sometimes before the buses came or before school started. And it was just a few minutes that they could all get together and be able to connect more with what they were interested in. And I was there as the kind of guider. You could do informances, bring people in from different parts of the community to hear what they're doing in class. Sharing work is a big thing, especially with the ability we have now with a lot of the technology that we have, like say in our creatives in Quaver, you have the ability to make MP3s. So have students create their own work, make that MP3, and then they can download it as a ringtone or share it with a family member via email, something like that. And then pen pals were another big thing too. There are so many different songs in Quaver, and a lot of my students love to share those songs that we were practicing. I was able through the power of social media to be able to connect with teachers from all across the globe, make friends, and we kind of connect either over email or via video chat and do song shares. We'd share different work. I had one time where we actually connected with a school, my fourth graders connected with a school in England who was doing like an all-night song share sort of situation. And they sang some patriotic tunes from England. And my students learned a couple of patriotic tunes to be able to share from the US. So that was kind of a special moment too. I had a lot of fourth graders who came back several years later and were like, remember that time when? So you knew it made a difference and they were able to really connect with that material. So let's think of the different types of connections. We have our academic subject, okay, how music connects to the different subjects. Kind of preaching to the choir with that one. You know, we all know that music connects to pretty much everything, to math, to science, to history, to geography, to reading, to writing. All across the board, music fits in everywhere. It really can be the heart of a school. So there's lots of different ways that it can connect to everything that students are doing during the school day and even not during the school day. Your technology connections come in because we have a lot of students who are connected to technology. And sometimes that's the way to engage them, is using a piece of technology in order to further that learning. You know, I'm a very big proponent of incorporating technology in a meaningful way. I used to say, just, it's not about giving the kid the iPad, it's about teaching them how to best use that iPad to further their learning. So being able to incorporate technology in meaningful ways where students are really getting the most out of their learning with it. Family connections is another big one. Cultural and social connections. You know, students' family lives. Do they have a specific culture, that their parents are from? Do they have, or their family members are from? Do they have specific interests? Do they do different traditions as a family? You know, family means a lot of things. Every student has a different perspective that they can bring. And self-interest connections, kind of like with Zara's Saturday playlist. What do they like to do? What are their hobbies? What's their favorite kind of music? There's lots of different ways that you can connect with students that way. So let's go through a few. This one's one of my favorites. So in Quaver specifically, we have a lot of what we call Quaver musicals. So if you look towards the end of, it's in kindergarten, first, second, and third grade, that we have what we call grade level shows. So end of the year shows. Kindergarten is all about healthy eating habits, good hygiene. First grade is all about going on an adventure. I'm doing this from memory. Going on an adventure, taking a vacation. Second grade, great science connections, because it's all about outer space, the planets, rocket ships, astronauts. And then third grade is all about, we have our third grade recorder unit in there. So we have some recorder tunes, but we also have instruments of the orchestra songs and some different resources on that. Each of these musicals has everything that you need to put on the show. It has prop suggestions, it has choreography videos, it has all of your songs, vocal warm-ups, scripts, all the way down to like ticket and t-shirt designs that you can use, or even background designs that you can project. It's got everything. This one specifically comes from our second grade level show with all these great science connections having to do with outer space. This is one of our choreography videos, and I'm going to play the student rehearsal because this teaches it's a great introduction to space, and we have some great other tunes that are all about learning about the planets. So here's the student.
Quaver musicals! I've got an itch in my brain to find out what's up there. I'd like to fly to the great beyond. I will study, do the training to become an astronaut. Put my body through the testing, give it everything I've got. To hear that 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off into the sky. We'll be going up, get ready to fly. We'll be coming down with something to say. We'll be telling everyone what we did in outer space today. I'll have the moon soon so I can spacewalk in orbit. Put the telescopes in the cargo bay. Little food packs to squeeze out when there's zero gravity. Lots of gauges to show me everything I need to see. Let's hear that 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off into the sky. We'll be going up, get ready to fly. We'll be coming down with something to say. We'll be telling everyone what we did in outer space today. Blast off into the sky. We'll be going up, get ready to fly. We'll be coming down with something to say. We'll be telling everyone what we did in outer space today.
This one's one of my favorites. So with these movement videos that we call them, they are choreography. We have the teacher instruction here. So we have a choreographer going through step by step, teaching you as the teacher how to do the entire dance. And then we have students who go and model the entire dance for students to be able to see what it's supposed to look like. Or you can just hit the student rehearsal and have students dance along. It's pretty easy to follow. With all these, we have a ton of them in our curriculum beyond just the movement, just the musicals themselves. We have a lot that are built in just to our regular song resources. And then we also have a lot of art, music, movement videos. We have a ton of movement activities in our resources. And this one's one of my favorites because it has a lot of that science connection in there. So I'm going to move on to another one that we have. This is Songbrush, and now we're going into more of those technology connections. One of my most favorite things to do with students was to introduce them to creative tools that they could eventually use on their own to make their own music. And Songbrush was a great place to start because there were a few different things I could do. The first way that I would introduce students to Songbrush, because it's technology, it brought them right in. Towards the beginning of the year, I would choose a couple students, and this was kind of more for younger kids. I would choose a couple students and I would draw their names on my staff. So Songbrush, you are basically painting a picture. So I'm painting a picture with names. I'm going to just draw my name on here so you can hear what it sounds like. Oh, we just added banjo and mandolin. All right, cool, cool. I'm going to change it to banjo. And when I hit play, so I've just drawn my name, when I hit play, makes music. So imagine, it's the beginning of the year, you're just getting into music class, and all of a sudden you see your name painted on the board, you get to listen to the music of your name. Students were able to give me some reflective discussion on how their classmates' names sounded. I always was very into vocabulary and trying to up students' vocabulary when it came to the reflection time, listening to and reflecting and responding to different pieces. So this was a big one because not only were we connecting with their different classmates, how to spell their different classmates' names, but we also were working on that vocab when we were reflecting and responding on what the music sounded like. So I would say, okay, you can't say the word good, you can't say the word bad, you can't say the word meh, you can't say the word okay. You saw those wheels turning with trying to figure out different words to be able to describe how their classmates' names sounded. So you can paint students' names, then maybe you can give this creative to students to be able to paint pictures. It's also great with melodic contour introduction as well. And after you've kind of gone and painted their name or painted a picture, if you hit this little note down here, it actually shows what the music looks like on the staff. So it automatically notates it for you. It's kind of cool, right? So this is a great creative. It's a tool that we call Creative. It's part of our creative suite. Songbrush is one of them. It's a great way to connect with students and really kind of get them introduced to be able to use digital creative tools. Another one, this is a more traditional notation, but this is meant for more older students. So if you are familiar with, say, Note Flight or Finale, something like that, this is extremely similar. You have your ability to go ahead and put notes on the staff. So I'm going to drag and drop a quarter note up here. And you can see it actually divides out the different beat spaces. There we go. So I can go ahead and place any notes. I actually can go ahead and have and choose whether I want the 2 treble clef, 2 bass clef, grand staff, anything like that. This can go up to, I believe, 64 measures. I can hit play, gives the countdown. So I have a lot of different opportunities with this. I have a lot of different opportunities with this. With this too, you can go ahead and click menu and you can actually save it. So students can actually create their own, save it to their own account to be able to use later. They can make an MP3 with it, download it. They can actually add play along tracks to it as well. So they can create more in a different creative and add it to this to add even more layers. So there's a lot of opportunity to be able to compose in here to create their own songs and music. And this is Q Composer Plus. We have several different types of creatives. Songbrush is one of the more easy ones. Then we have some classic creatives in there. We've got regular Q Grooves, regular Q Composer. We've got Q Strum. We've got a bunch of those in there. And then Q Composer Plus and Q Grooves Plus are kind of the top tier. They have a lot more different options in there to choose from. And these, especially if you're familiar with like Finale or Note Flight or something like that, these are really similar, but they have a little less option in there. So they're a little bit simpler for, say, a younger student to use as well. Moving on, we do have a large library of songs. In just our class play resources alone, our song-based activity hub, we have over almost 700, at least 700 songs, I think, with tons and tons and tons of resources. With all of this, we have some different songs to choose from. This is one of our new ones. I'm just going to play a second of this. I know I'm running short on time, but this is a new one.
आलू कचालू बेटा कहाँ गए थे बैंगन की टोकरी में सो रहे थे आलू कचालू बेटा कहाँ गए थे बैंगन की टोकरी में सो रहे थे.
Just a sample of a song. These have a lot of different resources that go along with. These have a lot of different resources that go along with it. One of them specifically, I love these about the song. So a lot of our new songs especially have a lot of about the songs. We also have pronunciation guides, pretty much a bunch of songs that kind of go all around the globe. And the really good part about how we do this process and create new songs, we use what we call a culture bearer. So those culture bearers go and really kind of tell us all the information and help us disseminate a lot of the information about each song so we can give all of the resources to use the teacher to be able to use. But with a lot of these songs too, there's a lot of students that are out there that can relate to a lot of these songs because it's part of their culture. And there's a lot of things going around that you can use with these. So about the song is a great one in here. And with this, it's just you can click on each one of the dots on there to learn a little bit more about the song itself. We've got real pictures on there. A lot of information about geography. So we've got some more academic subject connections. But you can head into the Making Music Worldwide feature on our dashboard to be able to go in and pick songs from different parts of the globe to learn more about them. And there's tons of resources to go along with each one. So another activity, and this one kind of goes along with those personal connections. With this one's kind of very similar to Zara's Saturday playlist, but this is meant for more younger students. We have Quaver, who, you know, everybody loves Quaver, who gives the directions on, hey, I'm going about my day. Can you choose some music that goes along with it? We hit begin adventure, and then we've kind of got a little drive, you know, Quaver's little Mini Cooper there. Let's say he's going to go to Quaver shop. I hit it. He's going to go there. And then I have my 3 choices to listen for music he's going to listen to while he's doing experiments in the lab.
Working in his workshop all night long, there's Professor McDuffin and his pet cat John.
If you never heard Professor McDuffin, listen to Professor McDuffin. There is a huge plot twist at the end of that one. That song's been around in Quaver for a long time, and it still gets me every time. So you can choose between the one, make the choice, and then move on. And we've got questions at the end as well. So very similar to Zara's, but this is meant for more younger students. It's great for that personal connection too, so we can get started. They can get started about discussing what types of music they like to listen to, what's the different, you know, what do they like to do in their free time? Kind of questions meant for more of those younger students to learn about what they like. So we're getting close to that time. I wanted to leave room for questions. Are there any questions that I can answer? All good? And I know Nick is here. He wanted to talk for a few minutes just about our product and things like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you did a fantastic job talking about the product and some of its associated resources. Obviously, there's content and associated activities for the entire academic school year. So I'm going to post in the chat really quickly just my contact information and then also a link where you can sign up for a free preview. And so once you sign up for the preview, it's typically 30 days, but if you need more time with it, feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to answer any questions, happy to set up a walkthrough, happy to tap into people like wonderful people in our company like Catie, who have used this in the classroom and, have extensive knowledge about a lot of the things involved and then even new things that we're adding. So I'll post this now. And like I said, feel free to reach out anytime with questions.
Let me share my screen one more time and I'll just kind of show the dashboard real quick, just to make sure everybody can see everything that I've been talking about. Let's go here, share, and I'm going to hit exit to get out of the lesson that I was in. I'm hanging out in Resource Manager right now because I customized that lesson. But this is the dashboard that you would see if you were to sign up for a preview. A few things if you were to get started with Quaver. Whenever somebody comes up to me and says, hey, I've never done Quaver before, where do I go? And I actually deal a lot with the pre-service teachers. So I talk to a lot of college students who are getting ready to get into the classroom. And a lot of them are using Quaver resources. And so they're like, hey, where do I go? And I usually say, stick with the check mark. You've got your lessons, class play, and your resource manager. Your lessons, we have over 200 lessons pre-K through 8th grade, and with tons of projects, resources, they're all aligned to state and national standards, and all these lessons are customizable as well. So you really, there's enough there to fit every single audience, and each grade level has up to 36 weeks worth of lessons, and those get you through the entire school year plus more, honestly. You've got all of those lessons pre-built here. But if you're like, hey, I'm just looking for extra supplemental resources, you've got your class play here, almost 700 songs. It might be over 700 by now, of all kinds of different styles. We've got some classical in there. We've got some pop. We've got some rock. We've got some Quaver originals, tons of folk music. We've got all kinds of things across the board with all kinds of resources to go along with each one as well. So you don't just get the song, you get all kinds of resources around the song to help unpack that song with students. And then your resource manager, your best friend. This is where you can go to search. This is where you can go to organize. This is where you can go to customize. And this is where you can go to share with your colleagues. So if you were to start with Quaver, head to the curriculum, class play, and resource manager. It's a great foundation. All right. There's my spiel.
Catie, what did the QR code have that you had at the beginning? Was that just kind of registering for this event in general? Okay.
Yeah, which I think is probably covered when they register for the webinar anyway. So
gotcha. Perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Well, thanks for being here today. And if there's anybody watching this later on, feel free to reach out with any questions.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it. I was taking notes and came up with lots of good things I want to try and plan for next year. I'm very, very excited about it. My kids are thrilled we're going to have another year. So I appreciate that.
Thanks for tuning in to the Missouri Alliance for Arts Education's Fine Arts Missouri Educators Network.